So today I'm interviewing Micahlele, and I think you're the most handsome RGL criminal. It's not every day you get a very handsome inmate, but I'd like to interview you just about your sort of admin experiences and then a lot of your interactions in the community. Yeah, do you want to go and introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Micahlele. I've been around a while. I started in like UGC season 16. I never really became super involved with the community, or even like at a higher level, and so maybe like the third or second season of RGL-ish. And from then, I've worked inside of RGL. I've been worked outside of RGL. I've been a news writer, a div admin, a head admin. I've seen a lot of things in the community, and I've been playing at an invite level for about a year or two now, maybe 3. I don't know how many years are in a season, or how many seasons are in a year rather. But I've been around, and I'm just here to speak my experiences and what I've seen over many seasons of TF2.
Right. Okay. So how did you get into the game on a casual level?
I transferred schools in from 6th grade to 7th grade, and my new group of friends in 7th grade, they showed me what Steam was, and we would always play TF2 and CSGO together. And while they sort of wanted to go, or played a lot more CSGO, I wanted to play a lot more TF2. Eventually, I got interested in how to play and playing competitively. I wasn't very good. I had like 500 hours, but there's no wrong time to start. So I went to the UGC Steam group. I posted a discussion how should I start? How do I find a team? And some guy explained it to me. He was nice. He had LFP in his name, and that was that. I started playing demo for a team in season 16. That's how I got in.
How did it go?
It was quite horrible, honestly. My first log is a Barn Blitz lobby, and I didn't know what Mumble was, so I didn't have it installed, so I just didn't... I wasn't in the Mumble the entire time. I had no idea what I was doing.
Oh, so it was like a European TF2 center.
No, it was NA. This was, way back in the day, Blizz. And I was, I don't know, 13 or 12, and I had no clue what I was doing.
Nah, the joke is people never use Mumble in EU TF2 centers.
True! But they were probably all in Mumble. I just wasn't, because I was an idiot. That's the thing. That's the sad part. I was the European.
You're European, Mike. Aye.
Yeah, and then from there, I just kept playing on teams. And I just kept wanting to play, so I did.
Alright, so what was your first UGC competitive scrimmer match like then?
Honestly, dude, I can barely remember. I think, actually, I remember, bits and pieces. I remember, we had, most of our matches were shit shows. People, we used the Steam group chat voice, for voice comms, because Discord wasn't a thing yet. We didn't have a Mumble server. We didn't use Skype. So we used, the Steam voice chat, which was horrible. And there was lots of screaming most of the time. I think we had to forfeit, 3 matches in a row, because our med, had, a panic attack. So we couldn't fucking play. It was really scuffed. It was really bad. I was horrible at demo. I think I got, sub 300 DPM every scrim. It was fun. I won't complain. I got an Aussie sticky bomb launcher out of it. The leader gave us all Aussies after. I was like, damn, okay. Not too shabby.
Okay. And, how do you end up becoming a spy main? What was season 18 like then?
I was always a spy main, but I wanted to play, whatever I could, really. Spy was always, my specialty, I'll say, but I was like, oh yeah, I can play, demo, or I can play sniper, or whatever. I don't think I actually got, a season of maining on spy until, maybe season 20. Season 20, probably. Because, season 16 through 19, I was mostly subbing. Or I was, playing demo or playing sniper. Maybe subbing in spy, but I've always wanted to play spy in comp, but, there just wasn't always the opportunity to. But I still wanted to play, so I did.
And, okay, so season 18, you were on Amicidia, though that was the inspiration for your later RGL team, Amicidia Nova's namesake?
Yes, Team Amicidia was probably the first team where I remember most of what was happening and most of the people on the team. And I really loved all of them dearly. I was still young at the time, I think maybe 14 or 13. And I was still growing a lot, as a person. So their personalities and, who they were really rubbed off on me, and they're all really nice people.
Hmm.
Like, Jane was one of the sweetest people alive. She was great. She was super nice. We had Ket on Soldier, who was always like, he was always very nice. He was always fun to play with. We had Pyre and Wes on Pyre, and both of those guys are fucking great. For demo, it was funny. We actually had Dope on an alt named Hero on demo, and I didn't even know this until like season 2 of RGL when he told me. He was like, "Oh yeah, remember season 18? Remember Hero?" He's like, "Yeah, that was me." I was like, "Damn, my bad." I found that interesting.
Oh yeah.
But we
also
had a player named Ostrich. They go by Katie now, and she's very sweet as well. She was always fun to be around. Heavy, we had Snowshoe, and Snowshoe was one of the kindest souls I've ever met. He was always so calm and gentle, and he was like a pounder on Heavy. I loved him, dude. NG, we had Pyrus, not Pyrus, Krista Pyre. We had Pyrus. Very different. He was a fun guy. He was a Euro. He was a fun lad. Medic, we had Purple Zilla. He was French. He was great. He worked on like race cars in France. He was really cool, and it was really fun to have him on Medic. Sniper, we had Z Snipier, also known as that guy, and it's funny because he actually recently added one of my friends from a pub, and I was like, "Oh, how'd you know him?" And we had a little conversation about that. Then there was Elite, and even though I wasn't really a big fan of Elite, I mean, he was still an alright fella. And of course, we had our mentor Flanky, and Flanky, like, I love the guy. He was great. Flanky was one of the most fun people to be around. Whether he was drunk or whether he was sober, he was great. I got so many good quotes out of him. He was such a good guy. I remember him teaching me how to surf on like Granary Mid and an MGE because I wanted to play Medic in sixes, and he was deadass teaching me like how to surf rockets like right then and there. And that's one of my like core memories that just makes me really happy thinking back. And even then, we had our sub spy named Dragovex, and Dragovex still to this day is one of my best friends. He's like a big brother to me. I love the guy. He took a break from comp, I don't know, maybe like season 21 or season 22, and he came back recently for the last couple seasons of sixes. And I'm very happy that he's back. I'm very happy that I can still talk with him because he's just a fantastic guy. He was one of my first spy mentor and one of my like really good friends. Like I said, he's like a brother to me. And I'm very happy to have him as a friend. And that all of that came from Amicidia in season 18, season 19. Every single person was on that team. They had a really big impact on me, and I'm really thankful for them. That's why when I led a team in season 2, and I wanted it to be something that was special to me, I never led a team before, and I wanted it to really, be something that represented me and what I wanted to do. And Team Amicidia was something that was close to me. It was actually Plural who came up with the name Amicidia Nova, because Team Amicidia is Latin for team, or Amicidia in Latin is translated roughly to friendship. And Amicidia Nova is translates to new friendship, and I thought it was really nice, so I gotta thank Plural for that. A sort of continuation of the team name.
Right. Okay. So you would definitely say that, yeah, it was like really beneficial on you as a person, sort of your development.
Absolutely. Obviously there were plenty of teams that I played on and plenty of people that I interacted with. But Team Amicidia is always going to be one that sticks out in my mind. It is always going to be one I look back on as something really nice.
That's good to hear, yeah. Okay, so, yeah, let's go back to you just starting out as a spy main, yeah, so that'd be season 20.
Yeah, I think season 20, I was on a team called In It to Win It, but Win was spelled Nguyen, I think it's the Vietnamese,
Vietnamese.
Last name. Yeah, and it was alright. We didn't do as well as I would have liked, but I mean it was still one of my first times probably fully maining. It was pretty fun. I can't complain.
Okay.
Me and the leader had beef afterwards because I said I wasn't happy with how the team performed and I left, so he got upset at me, but it's not the end of the world.
Right, for sure. So, yeah, so from there it was just sort of like a gradual progression up to eventually like RGL or so?
Yeah, like season 20, I don't know, we were like bottom half of Steel. Season 21, I played on a team of like surf mains, and so I got some of the players on that team are also some of my good friends. My good friend Setsuna played soldier for that team. My good friend Josh played sniper, and I love them both. They're both also very good friends of mine. And yeah, that's when we got like third in Steel. I'm pretty sure we only lost to 33 gallon trash bags and Seductive 9. who at the time selected I had like an ESA IM flank, I'm pretty sure. In Steel, so I don't think we were winning those games, but then from there it was just a slow climb. Like I subbed in Silver for like 2 seasons or 3 seasons. I think I played season 24 Silver as a main spy, and season 25 was the Home Depot season, where we got like, I don't know, I think 4th in Silver, which was pretty fun. And then from there it was just RGLs. Our UGC died then, and RGL was next. It was just a slow progression.
And what do you think allowed you to just like keep progressing, and what eventually allowed you to sort of like reach the level that you're at? Like, what was really the difference? What made the change?
The big thing was fixing my attitude. Like, honestly, I think season 1 and before that, I was kind of a shit person. I was really mean. I was toxic. I had a very big ego despite not being very good. And I wasn't very good. I wasn't in a very good mental spot. Like, I had some other stuff going on. I wasn't really the happiest kind of guy. But I sort of cleaned that up with the help of another very good friend of mine, Katrina. She's also very nice. She played a demo in main and advanced a lot. She was also very sweet. She helped me out a lot. And I cleaned up my mental, and after that I just started playing better by proxy, because, you feel better. It's just a part of the game.
Right. Well, I'd imagine especially for Spy, right? Like, it really helps to just like tilt less and be able to coordinate more, yeah?
I think on every class it's useful to have a good mental.
Yeah, but like especially coordination-based ones, yeah?
Yeah. But I'm going to be honest, I didn't really coordinate that much. I don't think I was really a coordination-based spy. I just played a really good feed spy, and that was about it.
Okay. But still, new Mento, new Micah, huh?
Yeah, literally. Like, it was literally new mental, like hashtag reformed mental, and I was cockdick balling my way in advance to invite, like, season 2, season 3.
Right. Okay. And so, what are your sentiments sort of just looking back at UGC? Do you think there's anything they did like particularly well or poorly at?
I think their sandbagging was pretty god awful. Like, I don't know who the fuck I think it was Dippity and Bark. I could be wrong. On like, I think these were the flank members for Selective 9. I think they're playing ESCIM. I don't know who the hell thought it was a good idea to let those guys into UGC Steel, but I think like stuff regarding like harassment was not really addressed well. Like, just, slurs were rampant, stuff like that. It was generally a more toxic league to play in, but I don't think I had any problems like actually playing the matches. Like it was fun to play in. I didn't have any problems. Just the people were like bad people were allowed to run rampant.
Right. Okay. So
Like, there were plenty of examples I could name of people who were like really disgusting people and did really horrible, probably illegal things, and they were so like had no consequence for playing in the league and doing those things despite multitudes of evidence being put up for them being horrible.
right. Okay. And that's definitely like, do you think something RGL has improved on?
Definitely. I think in the early seasons of RGL, nothing really changed. I think in the early seasons of RGL, there was no formal reporting system. You sort of had to DM an admin and hope it all worked out. I know I personally had experiences where I reported people in like the first couple seasons of RGL, and nothing came of it. I got ghosted, and like I asked for more evidence, I gave more evidence, and then just nothing happened out of it. I got no response saying, "Oh, we need more," or "Oh, this is not ban worthy." Just nothing happened. But as RGL has progressed, especially, we're 12 seasons deep. This season 1 was probably like, I don't know, 3 years ago at this point, maybe 4 years ago. If like there's 3 seasons a year.
I think 4, yeah, like 2018.
Yeah, we've definitely progressed to a point where the reporting system has gotten a lot better, and a lot more people are being held accountable for their actions, which is great. Especially recently with the recent Alpha and Satan bans, and plenty of other bans before that. I think it's been really nice that these people have been getting their due justice.
So what do you think? What did you think of the initial like RGL to UGC transition? Like, did you see a lot of older players and teams just sort of like filter out of the game and die?
I'm not entirely sure, because I wasn't involved in Platinum like at all. In season 25, I wanted to play Plat season 26, but again, then RGL came over, and
How about
Yeah, I
silver?
just stuck over. Silver, I mean, Home Depot moved over. IBKC moved over. I know a couple other players who moved over. Like, I think it was, who were the top two silver teams? I think it was Catbud. I know a bunch of Catbud players came over. I think, what was the other team? Atrocity Exhibition, which was just 33 gal trash bags.
Yeah.
I know they came over. So I think a lot of like the upcoming silver teams came over. I know most plat players came over. Like I know there was Irene. I know there was KND. I think there was like a Dodongo variant. I know there was a Team Spoo variant. I know there was an Apollodosh variant. So I think a lot of platinum teams, a lot of higher silver teams moved
Hmm.
over.
How about like more middle of the division ones, like just like the things that allowed silver to be such a large division? Do you
I
think
mean,
that's
I think
something
they
you
had
saw?
to move over. There was nowhere else for them to go. Like you asked Zabby, who was the UGCM at the time, oh, what do you think the state of UGC Highlander is going to be after RGO opens up? And she just responded, yeah, it's going to be dead.
Yeah, but
So,
like
yeah,
you.
I don't think there's anywhere else for people to go.
Well, it's not about like where they go, but do you think it's the sort of thing where it like divided the community much at all? Like, do you think you saw people filter out that much as a result of it?
Nope.
Hmm.
I think
Okay.
the people who wanted to play moved to RGL, and the people who didn't want to play weren't going to play the next season in UGC anyway.
Right. So, do you think maybe there was like a bad impression left just from RGL not really like making as much of a change in the earlier seasons, or do you think maybe that like that lack of a change was a good thing to sort of just like ease people into it?
I mean, I think I'm not going to say that there's only not really big changes with like the sort of reporting system, but there still were changes in Highlander. Like round robin invite was really nice. I think they did like map pick bans instead of like a weekly schedule for invite, which was kind of neat. It drew like the higher players in. There's also the prize pool, which was really nice. So it drew the higher players in, and then where the higher players go, the rest will follow. So
Right. How about in regards to like the report system in specific though? Like, do you think that's something that maybe people were like initially really looking forward to potentially when moving to RGL?
I
And
don't think that was part of the process, honestly.
hmm,
Like
okay.
I don't know if people were expecting like a real reporting system when moving over. I think as things have grown, people are expecting a solid reporting system because that's the precedent RGO has sent or has presented rather. But I don't think that was a big thing in the initial transition from UGC to RGO.
Right. Okay, that's definitely fair. Yeah. So, what led to you becoming an admin for RGL?
I really care about this community. I really love Highlander. I love the people who play Highlander, and I really love the game mode. I wanted to give back to the community that I'd been involved with, the past couple of years, and I really enjoyed being in. So I wanted a way to give back and also shape Highlander for the future.
Okay.
And I thought being an admin was the best way to do that. I initially started as a news writer. I wrote articles for I think Advanced and Invite. Maybe I did one for Main because the main writer was in Grands, so it was for bias reasons. I wrote Region Wars articles, and from there I just slowly climbed the totem pole. I was a news writer, then a div admin, then a head admin, then just rose.
Okay. And were your expectations met?
I don't really know what I was expecting. I'm gonna be honest. I was just expecting to go in and try to change and I don't really say I don't think I had really any big expectations for being an admin.
Hmm. I
Like
guess.
it was nice because I had like I was starting to sort of make another because I think when I became a div admin was when I was subbing for 80 in season 3, and that was really when I was starting to make a name for myself. So I was happy because I was not only getting a name for myself within the community as a better player, but also as an admin, as sort of a community leader. Like inside of RGL, I don't know really if I was expecting much, but having sort of the rank and the title was like good enough for me. And like even if RGL was mostly busy, we're okay. Schedule matches. We didn't do demo requests at the time, but schedule matches. Talk to your team, the team leaders in your day. I was like, okay, that's chill, whatever.
Hmm. What was the process of initially becoming an admin like? Like, what were the sorts of things you had to do?
I sent in an application when RGL posted an announcement, and I got interviewed by Witness.
Ooh,
And that was
Witness
literally
Gaming.
it. And then Witness from Witness Gaming. He's another good friend of mine. But Yeah, and then he was just like, "Oh yeah, he's asked the, like typical interview questions." So I think I still have the docs. I heavily used his like questions doc when I was doing interviews later down the line. But
Right.
it was just like a lot of typical stuff, a little bit of fun flair thrown in.
Okay. So, how did you end up becoming the head admin of RGL Highlander?
So actually, at first, I became the head admin of No Restriction Sixes because after season one, Sigafu was taking a step back from RGL as a whole, and I think he realized like, oh shit, we need No Restriction Sixes season two, and we don't have anybody to admin it because it's No Restriction Sixes. And I think Exa recommended me because Sigafu like called me one day or like messaged me like, "Oh, yo, can you chat real quick?" And I was like, "Oh fuck, I'm about to get fired, dude." Like Sigafu is actually about to smite me from the heavens. I'm gonna lose my position. But no, he asked me if I was interested in head admining NR6s, and I was like, "Sure, this is an opportunity to sort of prove myself and make because I did think NR6s had a lot of potential at one point. I'll talk about that a little bit later, but I did think the game mode had potential, and I thought I could sort of bring out that potential.
Yeah,
But
talk about it now.
yeah, yeah. Well, I want to go. Yeah, yeah. But so Sigafu, he showed me like how to do head admin, how to set everything up, and I tried my best. Like, I didn't have that many staff resources. I had like an admin for a div. I think I was adminning 3 divs, and I had like a couple other people for the other divs. And I was getting schedules out. I didn't really have too much time to work on stuff because I'm pretty sure Sigafu was like, "Oh shit, we need someone to admin this. We have supposed to have a season in like 3 weeks." And then I just kind of got pinned with. I don't want to say pinned with it because Sigafu was very nice with helping me like get accommodated to like what I should do. But still, it wasn't really a good season. But yeah, I think the biggest reason Hour 6 failed was because I treated it as like a game mode. Because even though I saw the potential, other people didn't. Because traditional sixes is it's the main game mode. So even though you do have like a lot of potential for really optimized baller strats and NR6s, like, oh, what is the most optimal way to push upward first when you have infinite like class restrictions? I don't know, maybe 2 snipers with a vax med, and then 1 med for crits, 1 med for like stock Uber hiding in spawn while your other 2 players sack. I don't know. But the bottom line is, it's more fun to run 6 heavies with your team and have a good time. Like, that's it. It's more fun to have a good time with your friends, do troll fucking strats with like 6 soldiers or 6 heavies or 6 spies. When the more serious game modes, you can still play them and not have to, waste your time trying to like optimize an entirely new game mode that everyone else isn't taking seriously.
So why didn't it end up like catching on with that niche, and like couldn't it have been something like UGC's fours but for RGL, like just something you sort of play with for your friends for fun?
Well, one thing is matches were on the same nights as sixes matches, so sixes players automatically didn't want to play it. There were still teams who would play it, dick around, and have fun, but it wasn't really like big. It could be something like fours, but there's no like desire to actually run it.
I see. So it's just like a bit of an identity conflict, and it just not really being able to be run in the way that, or like there wasn't a desire to run it in the way that it would have worked best in.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And not to mention, like, in NR6's invite, like, they didn't play any of their matches. I scheduled them every week, but, like, Benny and Daffodil just did not play the matches. I don't know why. Like, I'm not, like, maybe, like, the first 3 weeks they had sixes, like, finishing. I'm like, okay, that's chill. But, like, you should still work to schedule them afterwards. I got no, like, I even was like, hey, Daffodil, can you work this out? And then nothing happened. It was not very good.
Okay.
Trust me, I gave both Daffodil and Benny my fucking my rant about it, but nah, that's all done and dusted news. That's nothing
So
new or fancy. That's all old.
what would you have changed looking back, or like what could have RGL have done differently there?
For NR6s,
Yeah.
not fucking do it. Honestly,
Base.
I don't know. I don't think it was worth to have another season of NR6s. unless you had like as much resources pumped into it as season one. Because season one had teams getting keys. Season one had fucking like I don't know, maybe if it was I think it was marketplace.tf like
Yeah.
sponsoring hella fucking money into it.
I think Banny as well, right? Like some Banny bucks.
Yeah, I don't know, some Banny bucks. People were pumping money into it, dude. And listen, you've seen the Overwatch League. If you pump money into something, it'll work. But I was a fucking I was a broke high school student. I'm a broke college student now. I threw like $100 into the invite prize pool. That's all I could do. I didn't have fucking marketplace.tf dollars to shove in. I didn't have any of that.
Right. So it's like all the resources that you had for the first time around just weren't really there for the second time around.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. So it's like, yeah, they should have just like taken it from the first one, I guess, in that case. Okay. So yeah, how did you? How did that transfer into becoming the head admin for Jill Highlander, even if like no restriction sixes wasn't that successful?
Because I was the no restriction sixes head admin at the time, so I sort of considered like a test run to like see if I could handle Highlander. Because Exa wanted to back up from Highlander and just be a more general RGO admin, and I know Exa trusted me a lot to be like a head admin. I think and because I was already familiar with most of the things from NR6s, I think I was the next logical step to be the Highlander head admin.
So it was like you're training you to become a successor kind of with NR6s?
I mean, it could be seen that way. I don't know if that was the plan all along, but I definitely could see it that way.
Okay, sorry, I see what you're saying.
I honestly didn't want to take the position because I was starting my first semester of college. So I really did not want to take the position because I wanted to focus on school. But I asked Exa, I was like, if I don't take the position, who's gonna replace you? Like who's next in line? And he said nobody. And I was like, it was a really awkward position to be in because, like, yes, I want to put all my resources into being able to succeed in school, but at the same time, if nobody replaces me, what the fuck happens to this game and community that I love so much?
Right. Okay.
So I did wind up taking it, and I do regret that decision still, because, like, I ate shit in my first 2 semesters. I ain't gonna lie, and I think being a head admin and playing was part of that, because I didn't devote enough time to my studies.
Okay. And is college like what ended up leading to you just stepping down eventually? Yeah.
Absolutely. Like when I announced I was leaving to the other headmans admins, I was like, I need to focus on school. Like, I'm having my last season in playing Highlander, like, maybe next season. That's my last hurrah, bro. After that, like, I'm not gonna be maining, I'm not gonna be adminning, I need to focus on school. And that's exactly what I fucking did.
Right. Okay. So, what led you to coming back then?
It's the summer season. I don't have much to do over the summer. I got denied from internships because all the interns like, oh, we need experience. I'm like, how do I get experience if I can't play? If I can't go into internship? Haha.
Exactly.
Like, I'm taking 1 summer class, but even then, that'll be like a couple hours a day. And I still love the game. I still want to play. So if I can play during the summer, I'm gonna chase that opportunity.
All right. Okay. So, have you tried like reapplying to RGL?
I actually have, because Constantly is the new head admin of Highland. I want to say, Constantly, you're doing a great job so far, buddy. Keep it up. I love it. And with the recent Satan and Alpha bans and the Exodus ban for the leaking of the info and all that stuff, Highlander was down in admin. So Constantly asked me, like, oh, if I would be interested in reapplying to help him out. And I said yes, because Constantly is one of the best admins I had as a head admin. He was like easily my hardest worker. He was like the newcomer admin, which is in my opinion one of the hardest divs to run. And he was really fantastic, so I figured Constantly help me, now it's my time to help him back. And I did reapply, and I got denied.
And why do you think you got denied?
I'll put this in air quotes, very large air quotes. Okay. My threats to Willmatic on the RGO forums.
And what were those threats? Let's go.
I told Willmatic to post the survey results regarding Advanced being round robin or Swiss, and I gave him 24 hours, and I posted Dario, which is the fucking Dark Mario image. It was the in reference to, I think it was Sandblast messaging Banny like, "Oh, you have 24 hours with Daria," and that was always funny. We had that as like a meme on the QD, so I did that, and I don't regret doing it. I mean, could I have done it in a more professional manner? Yeah, but fuck it. I'm not an admin anymore. I don't have to be professional. What I did was I held Womatic accountable, because if I didn't like do anything, if I didn't like say that I had the results or like show that I had them, Womatic was not going to upload them, because that guy does not need to have his like reputation, or not to have him and admin look worse than he already did. And by showing the results and keeping advanced as Swiss, that was going to do that. But by showing that like I had the results, that I could post them and I could leak them, it holds Romantic accountable and forces him to release them.
So
he can always say like, "Oh, but we were going to release them anyway," but I didn't trust that they were, and my hand and me doing that forces Romantic to release them, or else it'll just look like even worse of a scumbag.
right, so you view it as like a bit of an obligation as a member of the community?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, and also I think it was really stupid how RGL didn't take away my permissions to view the survey results when I left. I think that was really. I think it's RGL's fault for not doing their due diligence with removing my permissions.
Right. And do you think just like RGL not wanting you to be an admin in response to that, like, if that is the reason, do you think that's justified, or do you think that it's not really justified?
I think it's justified in the sense that RGL wants somebody that's going to do what the best. They want somebody that's going to do the best for RGL, not somebody that's going to do the best for the community, even if it goes against what RGL wants. I'm somebody who's always going to do what's the best for the community, even if it's not going to be what RGL necessarily wants. So from coming from RGL's perspective, I see it, but at the same time, it's RGL's loss that they're missing out on one of the best fucking admins to ever hit Highlander.
So
okay, that was a hella ego statement. I'm sorry, but I did it.
Fair.
I think I did a pretty okay job of pushing things forward.
So would you say maybe that's like more representative of like one of the bigger issues RGL has? Maybe that like they tend to work for the community instead of working with them and the players of it?
It's hard because there's a lot of things that because it's easy to say like, oh, the community's a bunch of like idiots. Like, we shouldn't always cater to them, but at the same time, there are some things that the community wants that are like good and are going to contribute to like the health of the game.
Right.
Like, for example, like round robin advance, like that's something that is really good for the health of the game. Like, I think if Womatic kept on the path he was going, we were going to wind up in the same spot as UGC, where we'd have 3 divs, and none of them were round robin. Plat would have like 11 teams, Silver would be like 30 teams, or sorry, Invite would be like 11 teams, then you'd have like main, and then you'd have like amateur, and they'd both have like 40-30 teams, and it would be horrible.
So real quick on that topic, actually, in one of the your demo just crashed my game. Whatever.
Nice.
In one of the previous interviews, like something that was stated is that Womatic wanted to make more in the way of changes, but that RGL like didn't allow him to fully make changes, and that he would end up taking the blame for that a lot of the time. Is that something you would have any insight into?
I really don't, but I know if RGL denied it, then it was really fucking stupid. Because RGL doesn't really deny things too often. Like, I want it, like, for those who know what NES or 7NES pugs were, it was a sort of a thought of a new game mode that was not in the spirit of TF2 at all. It was purely trying to be the most competitive format possible while sticking to, like, I don't know, keeping class diversity. Like, and even I even got permission to run pugs in that. Like, I don't think if Romatic didn't get the permission to do something by like Exa or Reno or Sigafu, then I really think it was a god-awful idea.
Okay. That's fair. So do you think maybe just like RGL's like mistrust of the community in that sense, like, or just like not really working with them on that things, do you think that ends up making the community like mistrust them back in response, or not really willing to work on things?
Absolutely. Like, have you seen TFTV? Like,
Yes.
those guys will rip RGL to shreds over the stupidest things. It's always like, oh, RGL isn't consistent. And when RGL is consistent, they complain because it's like, oh, it's a community member. He casts, Like, the biggest thing was, I'd say the biggest example I could think of is, like, constant threads like, oh, the bans aren't consistent, RGL sucks, Lamau. show us evidence, whatever. And then somebody gets banned for not having their demo for like the 5th time, and it's like, wow, how could you do this to him? Like, he's a community member and a community caster. Why did you ban him? It's like, RGO has the guidelines for it, and they're following them. And you're getting mad at when they do follow them, and you're getting mad when they don't follow them.
Right. Okay. So, would you describe that as, like, not like the ban raising itself, but just like the sort of general community response we see? Like, given the community response, do you think that's maybe something that it would be in the best interest of RGL to fix anyways?
You can't fix it, because people are always going to hate RGL purely because of the people who run it. There's a lot of people who hate Securfu, there's a lot of people who hate Exa, there's a lot of people who hate some of the RGL admins. There's always going to be the sentiment of that RGL is bad and they have done bad in the past, so they are going to continue to be bad.
Do you think?
And I think repairing relationships is a very difficult thing to do, and it's not gonna. I don't think it's worth investing as so many resources into winning over the people that aren't gonna get won over.
Well, like,
I think having like smaller changes that like win over people little by little, like the people who are maybe on the fence, like I think that's fine, which is what RGL is doing, especially in the Sixes side of things. And now with the Highlander side of things, with Constellators head on, it's going to happen more. But I don't think trying to like convert RGL haters to RGL lovers is like worth their efforts.
Right. Well, I'm not suggesting that. I'm just pondering, like, do you think it'd be beneficial if they tried working more with the community members that do care?
I mean, the community members that do care are admins. That's the way I see it. If they do care, they're going to try to apply to be an admin and try and change things. And if they don't have the time for it, then like there isn't much they can do anyway, because they don't have the time for it. They don't have the time to like. Obviously, you can criticize RGL like all you want. I think that's fine, but I think if you really want to make a change, you apply to be an admin and you change it from the inside.
So you don't think the change like comes more from the community itself, then?
Not as much. I mean, obviously, there's some times where there's community outcry and RGL has to change stuff. I think sometimes it's stupid when the community like outcries. I think one of the biggest examples was when I think it was like half of my anime list got banned for saying slurs in a log of a scrim. But it came to our attention that the logs the pre scrim chat when nobody was in the server besides them was recorded into the log. And I think there was a TFTV thread about that, and I think that was really fucking stupid, because it was one thing that could have been solved easily by a DM to whoever the sixth admin was at the time. There needs to be a giant thread about it. It was stupid. Because it's pre-game chat does not normally get caught up in logs, so when a log comes and people are saying slurs, we generally ban off that. When we're spending our Friday night already taking 3 to 4 hours, going into 1 a.m. for some EST people, to look over all the reports, we're not looking like through demos and shit. We're looking at logs, because we're not looking at a fucking giant SCV demo to pinpoint it. Plus, it's like a voice chat thing.
Right.
So when we see in the logs, we assume that's in the scrim. If say one of the my anime members came and was like, "Hey, this was in the pregame. Here's the scrim demo here's the match demo that you can watch. We have a match tomorrow, so this needs to be addressed now. Can you look at this?" And then Micah, or whoever the sixth admin was, I think it was Micah, would have said sure, and then it would have been resolved. There needs to be this giant thread calling RGL fucking stupid about it.
Right. It's like the community doesn't really get to see all that nuance, right? They just see like the end result and kind of jump on the train.
Exactly. There didn't have to be a big shit show over like a tiny issue.
So
people just always want to bandwagon on the hate RGL train.
Would your advice to the community be to just sort of be that like to say that RGL normally like knows when stuff like that like it's something they become sort of aware of, right? And that it's just like all that animosity doesn't really help anything?
I'd say treat it like how's the best to try? Treat it like you're inside of a company, or like you're doing it's like a whistleblower thing. Like, before you make a public outcry about it, see if it's worth your time, see if it's worth like actually getting an uproar about, and before you make the giant uproar blowing the whistle, make sure that like try to resolve it internally first, because else just makes like a lot of shit for no reason.
Right. Okay. And what do you think something that like RGL could improve on is then? Like, what's the biggest thing they need to change going forward, in your opinion?
I mean, honestly, I think RGO right now is in a good spot. I think the Sixes staff is really good. I think having Reno as a head admin and having other various community members like Virgil as admins is very good. I think the Sixes is doing better than it's ever been. I used to give the Sixes staff a lot of shit for being horrible because I don't know. So many times I could think of I remember Lumidi getting smited from the staff Discord for saying that someone who called someone else a slur shouldn't be banned because they were gay. They instantly got smited from the staff Discord, dude. It was so funny. But I think like someone getting restricted for going 1-15 in IM on Scout, getting restricted from Scout in IM is really fucking stupid. That happened to me. So I used to give the Sixes staff a lot of shit. But they've really picked it up and they really work like a well-oiled machine now. And I always wanted to hold Highlander to a high standard. So when I saw, what was happening when Romatic was a head admin, and even like in my last season as an admin, I didn't do too well. I didn't uphold the standards I wanted, and I was really upset with how it was going down.
Okay.
But now with Constantly as a head admin, I think that's all going to change, and I think it's already looking a lot better. Constantly's really active. He's getting good articles out. He's getting good forum posts out. He's actively involved, and I think it's very, very good going forward.
So, what were the sort of standards that you tried to uphold, and why weren't they upheld during your last season?
Like I wanted matches scheduled. I wanted schedules to be out like as soon as possible. I didn't want schedules to be going out like Friday or Thursday night. I wanted them to be going out like Tuesday, Wednesday, the latest. So teams had like that 2-day gap before scrims to schedule scrims. I wanted demo checks to be going out consistently. I wanted every team in invite to be checked. I wanted every team in advance to be checked. I wanted maybe like half the teams in main to be checked depending on the div size. And I wanted those out every week in like a consistent manner. And I wasn't like upholding I wasn't keeping my admins at that standard.
Right.
So yeah, I can ping every week to remind everyone. But actually getting on their ass to make them do it, I didn't do it. Same thing with like player ratings. Player ratings, if you don't know, every player in RGL has a number, and your number it's what RGL considers your skill level. This is it's mostly used in like lower divisions to know if someone belongs to like newcomer or not, or like amateur IM or main,
right?
Maybe.
And this is the Faceit number, right?
No, this is not the Faceit number. This was before Faceit, like, ever got involved with RGL. There's things got involved with Faceit. This has been a thing since, like, the earliest days of RGL.
Okay.
And something we would do every season before and after was look through every single player that was on a team's rating and make sure that it was accurate. So that way you wouldn't have players that were rated as a 1 and they had just, like, maybe they moved to an IM team. Now they're now they're not rated as a 4 because people didn't go through their ratings at the end of the season and change them, and now you have this guy who's labeled as a 1 that's actually a 4, and he's allowed to play in IM, or in like amateur or newcomer, because like our admin thinks he's like that level of play, that he can play at that level like and not be a problem.
So
because I wanted to say
carry on,
because when you have a large quantity of players like in newcomer, like, I don't know, fucking, like let's say 20 teams, 9 players, do the math, that's like 18, no, not 1800, like 180 players that you have to look through, individually. That's a lot of work, so you can't go to every single player's profile and, check them. And that's only mains, that doesn't even include subs, or, like, if teams are, like, dying or trying to go into, like, other divs. So you need that number to look through them very, very easily. So when that number is wrong, it creates a lot of problems. I know Constantly had a lot of problems with some players that weren't supposed to be a newcomer getting caught up in newcomer because people in the divs like amateur and IM did not adjust their ratings. And that was something I was really big on. I picked multiple times about, but I still did not uphold my standards for that.
Okay. So would you describe your main job as the Highlander hub, and then to just sort of coordinate things and make sure like people are on the same page, like the community, the RGL admins, like that they're all just sort of like working together in a sense?
the big thing is delegation, making sure your admins are doing their busy work as well as working with their div and working with their leaders and making sure everything is communicated.
So
another thing is, as in head admin, is you have to attend head admin meetings every Friday. I don't know if this has changed, but this is what it was when I was an admin. You had to attend the head admin meetings every Friday, and you would go over reports with all the other head admins, and that was just another added thing.
So when you say X person didn't do as good of a job as the Hab, and are you mainly referring to just their level of delegation and communication between their admin team then?
Yeah, and
Okay.
how they respond to the community.
Right.
When Wilmatic was an admin, I was getting messages from current and ex staff members alike saying how horrible it was to work under Wilmatic. This is not me making things up. I have gotten messages. I'm not going to name these players because I respect their privacy, who were working or currently worked under Wilmatic, and they were not happy with him, and they came to me. Even players I have never interacted before. Some were obviously my friends, or some that I picked up on staff, while I was a head admin, I approved them and I brought them onto staff. And some were people that Wilmatic himself brought onto staff. I think that is a very big problem, that they're coming to me and complaining about how Wilmatic runs Highlander internally. And it's even worse when externally you see all the uproar that Wilmatic has caused.
Okay. Do you think just the sheer level of criticism or negativity, do you think that any of that's unjustified towards Wilmatic?
I think people can definitely be more just, more
constructive?
Yeah, constructive about it.
Right.
I certainly wasn't as constructive as I could have been, but I also don't give a shit. And that's what people have to realize. People who aren't who don't have a standard to uphold, they don't have to be they don't have to have a level of credibility that they have to live up to. They don't have to have a level of professionalism, which sucks. But it is what it is. And I know when Wilmatic was an admin, when I was giving when I was handing the reins over to Wilmatic, I even talked to him. I was like, listen, man, I didn't do too well my last season. You know that. The other admins know that. I wasn't doing a good job. And I specifically went over with him, listen, these are the things where I fell short on, which were the things I discussed before. And these are the things that I want you to really be consistent on and fix. And they didn't happen. And I think that's also really not nice. That's not cool. We talked about getting demo checks out on time. Demo checks didn't happen. I think in Wilmatic's last season, Invite which is already the most important division to have demo checks for, maybe got 1 or 2 demo checks out a week, and then they just completely stopped by the later half of the season. Schedules were still going out Thursday, Friday nights, sometimes even Saturdays, which is really horrible. Those are things I specifically said to Wilmatic, listen, I want you to fix these, man. I fell short. I need you to pick up the slack where I failed.
Right. Okay. Do you think some of the responsibilities on RGL there for just not putting him in that spot? Do you think that they could have made a better decision, or do you think it was something that they only really knew about when he was put into that position?
No, I was one of the sole people involved with who my replacement was going to be. I had my three applicants. I'm pretty sure I've talked about who they were before, so I don't feel too bad naming them now. They were Power Puker, Spanish Inquisition, and Wilmatic. I interviewed all 3 of them. I didn't need a formal interview one when they first applied. I think I had 3 very simple questions. I think I asked who was the most important person inside of RGL, and 2 other questions, and that was it. And they were all sort of in that vein. And it really sucked because the only person who got the biggest question to me was the who is the most important person inside of RGL question. So I'll actually ask you this Bliztank. Who do you think the most important person inside of RGL is?
I want to say Exaflamer.
Exaflamer?
Yeah.
I understand that. But the answer I was looking for from the applicants was the community. The community are a part of RGL, and they are the most important person inside of RGL. Like they are your consumer. They are your like the people who receive your product. They are the people you need to impress. So when I get responses, it's funny. The only person who got that response right was Inquisition, but even then, he was like, "Oh yeah, if you want me to give the customer service response, then yeah, it would be the customer, it would be the community."
See, like, I would think that, like, as long as you're doing decisions that are correct, that, like, are well intended, that, like, it would end up going well anyways, I guess.
I mean,
That's what I think.
that's just my opinion on how it should be, how like a head end should be run. Maybe
That's
it's not the objectively the best way, but that's how I believe a head admin should think about things.
the ends justify the means, Micah. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
Except
but
for I'm not.
after I interviewed them all, I literally went to the head admins and I was like, "Listen, these are the three applicants. I don't have the biggest, and I want you guys to be involved with who's going to be my replacement, so I let them vote on it. And
Okay.
my only vote was that I was vetoing the Spanish Inquisition, which turned out to be a really good move considering he was removed from staff next season for some not right comments to a community member.
So, do you think when it comes to just, like, head adminship, that there's sort of, like, how well people do you think it ends up coming a lot down to, like, personality as well? Like, let's say if someone's a lot more introverted, do you think, like, they end up struggling more when it comes to just, like, being able to successfully fulfill that position and delegate things?
Not really. Like X is a pretty big introvert, but I think X has done a pretty decent job of having Highlander be run, and I don't think that's really affected too much at all. However,
Okay.
I do think someone with a bit more of an extroverted personality is a better fit for a leader. I think someone who is a head admin should be a leader, and it should be someone who is involved with the community. And it's something that I criticized the head admin team at the time while I was involved. It's something I really criticized the head admin team for is that the most of the headmans at the time were me, Exa, Maccabeus, Sigafu, Yacht, and Josephus. Not many of them were active in the community. I think I was the most active in the community. Like I played in RGL pugs, I played in other pugs, I was in multiple team discords, I knew players from every single division. I had like I knew people, I was out there and I was involved. Like other players, maybe they stick to their circles. Maybe Micah sticks with his sixth circle with, like, I don't know, maybe Shiny and Scream. Exa sticks with, like, his circle as well. And Sigafu, again, not really as involved. Yachts and Yosfus, not really as involved. They're older people from the community. They're not really, like, as active. And that was something I always criticize people for. Or criticize the head admin team for. But when you're an extrovert, that definitely helps, like, being involved with the community there. It definitely helps with that. Not to say you can't be a good admin while being an introvert, because X has definitely proved that you can be a pretty damn good admin while being an introvert, but it definitely helps to not be one.
And
In my opinion.
were any of your candidates, like, extroverts from to your knowledge?
I don't really know. Like, I'm not too big on. I don't think most of my applicant. I don't really know them personality wise. I know that. I think if I had to guess, like Inquisition's a bit more of an extrovert. He's a bit louder, a bit more of a leader. Even if he is completely fucking thick-skulled. Sorry, Ink, but you are a bit of a thick. You are pretty dense. Power Puker's a bit more of an introvert, and Nomadic, I guess he's a bit in the middle.
Okay, but, like, yeah, like, just not looking back at, like, it's not really an excuse either way, right? Like, it's just, like, still more
it doesn't matter what your personality is. You can still do a good job as an admin.
Right, like, you always have the power to make the right decisions. Okay. That's definitely fair, yeah. Do you think that's something RGL has improved on in more recent times, like, with constantly had admin? Do you think, like, they are more involved in the community now? Or do you think that's still something they could improve on more?
I think constantly is definitely someone who's more involved with the community. I see that guy everywhere. He rings, he's involved with pugs sometimes, and he's, like, constantly engaging on the forums and within, like, the RGL Discord. I think constantly is what every single admin should strive to be like. Constantly is great, and he's easily he's going to be one of the best head admins Highlander has seen in a long time. He's going to be better than me. He's going to be better than X. He's going to be better than Romatic. I don't think that's going to be a contest.
And do you think that's what really, like, defines a good admin on paper? Like, is that what really allows, like, anybody, regardless of anything else about them as a person, to make the correct decisions because they know what the community needs then?
I think so. I think that's a big part of it.
Okay.
knowing what the community wants, what the community is, what the community feels is a big part of being able to do well as an admin.
Okay. That's definitely fair, yeah. Do you have any other interesting insights that you think you can offer, like, from all that experience and from having that position? Or do you think that probably runs about most of it?
That was most of it, but something I do want to comment on within like RGL and head admin and stuff is when RGL doesn't really have when RGL doesn't really have an out, it can be really like sleazy in a sense. Like when I was a head admin, I called somebody stupid in the head in a log, and I got an official warning for it. I got reported for saying that, and I got a warning. That's chill. I shouldn't be saying that, but like as a head admin. But you know what? Okay, I get my warning. I won't do it again. But when a head admin says a slur, like maybe not in a scrim block, because then they would have been banned, but like maybe in voice with a bunch of TF2 players, and you know people are like there that like are actively involved in the community, and they say a slur. I don't think that's a good fit for someone that's as a head admin, and I think there should be repercussions for that. So when that person gets a stern warning, I really think that that's really sleazy. That because RGO doesn't have an out, they don't have a replacement for said person. They sort of just brush it off because they don't really have a replacement.
Right. So like it becomes harder just for like accountability to be had there, yeah?
Yes, and I think it can. I think RGO has done things in the past that are similar to sort of save face. I don't know if I've ever told this before, so this is like a hip new this is a hip new take.
Just for me.
Yeah, just for this, bro. Hip hot new information, never before seen.
Holy shit.
But when Shaggy was banned, there was like a couple weeks talking about how he wanted to address it, because I don't think there was a time before that where someone who was an RGL member was like involved in something as serious. So obviously we needed like a week or two to like decide how we wanted to do things and like if we were going to do it properly. I'm not going to name names here because I respect the head admins and I don't want to completely fucking cripple them. But somebody recommended that we remove Shaggy secretly, and that we message him and be like, listen, we know what you've been doing. We can't have you involved with RGL anymore, so we're going to ask for you to leave quietly. And I immediately said that was the worst fucking idea I've ever heard in my life. I immediately brought up how fast that could backfire if we wanted to stay on the sleazy side of things, and how it would be even worse on us. And I immediately fired back with, that's just horrible thing to do morally, and we should own up to having like someone like that on our staff. Because I think having someone like Shaggy being put away quietly with a permanent ban and expecting them to just go quietly into the night with no article or anything, I think that's horrible. That's just the absolute scum. I think it was very, very wrong for the person who recommended that to recommend that. Thankfully, they agreed with me after I fucking gave my case of how stupid that was. They were like, okay, yeah, you're right. And then we did go forward with, you know, the public ban, as we all know, because we all know about it.
Right.
But yeah, I think that was very scummy, and I would not be surprised if stuff like that has happened, like, more.
So, do you think like a lot of people are potentially scared of like becoming an admin because they don't want to fuck up, like, or they don't want like that sort of pressure from the community? Then
Absolutely, there are plenty of people who don't want to take the heat from the community, and don't get me wrong, it's fucking hard. Like, it's not easy to put your heart and soul into something like every single day, because being an admin, it's not like a fucking like it's not like, okay, I'm active from these hours. It's like a 24/7 job.
right.
I'm responding to people at 3 a.m. I'm, you know,
Ooh, I'd love that.
in between, I'm literally playing my match Cloak and Dagger on like Surfwater first, trying to resolve a conflict in IM, because like that's my duty as an admin. Like, that shit don't stop, and it's really hard to then be constantly shit on, like threatened to be killed or doxxed
The
It's
fuck?
really not easy and not fun.
Is that
to, like,
something
be
that
an
happens
admin.
often?
Yes. There was a player in a certain infamous Discord that asked for the location of a bunch of RGL admins, and my name was on that list.
What
And
the
I was not
fuck?
happy with that.
Did that person get banned?
No idea. Don't care.
Fair
It was
enough.
probably more along the joke sense, like, oh, I'm gonna fucking send Anthrax to your house as a joke. But it's still not a comfortable position to be in.
Yeah, I
It
know.
really isn't.
I'm sorry to hear that. Huh. And that could be pretty detrimental on the psyche, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's definitely you need to have like a good mental to be an admin, or else it will break you and it will cause you to like deteriorate inside.
And then you won't be able to like make as good decisions, right?
Absolutely.
And do you think at that point it's just important to like take a step back, realize the sort of effect it's having on you, and then to just like step down at that point?
Yeah, and I
Okay.
think if you don't think you're mentally capable of being an admin, you shouldn't even try, because you will not last. You will not last.
Do you think that's something we saw in the UGC days? Maybe like especially with reports not really being handled by the founders of UGC?
No, because UGC they didn't care. They didn't have any sort of passion. They didn't care. Like, especially since they didn't do anything controversial, really. Like, I
Okay.
don't say they didn't do. I mean, if you want to consider like not doing anything controversial because it's inaction, I guess. But like Kumori didn't give a fuck. Maybe Zabi cared, but even
What up?
then,
It's just like in the previous interviews, like something got mentioned is that like those admins like did try and do stuff, but then it's just like they're matured through the community so long, and they just kept like staying in that position for a bit, and gradually just started doing like negative things as a result of not taking themselves out of that situation. And it seems like it sort of resonates with what you're saying.
I mean, I don't know. I can't comment on like the admin during UGC because again, I wasn't super involved with that sort of
Right,
stuff at
right.
the time. But I do know the admins that I do know from UGC, like Kubori. Like I know they were a complete fucking dickhead. I know they were not like they had like slurs on their rifles and stuff, and
Interest.
it wasn't very. I don't think they cared at all. So I don't think maybe they were good at first, and then their mental got tanked. But from what I saw of them, they were not good in the first place, and they never cared.
Fair enough. So, do you think another like important thing to just like potentially advise to like people looking to become admins is just to, like hold yourself accountable so the community doesn't have to as much?
I mean, honestly, if you're looking to become an admin at this point, I generally just say don't. Like, I don't think it's worth to become an RGO admin at this point.
Why in some way it has to,
Actually,
right?
actually, I'm gonna take that back. I think it definitely is now because you have good people running it. Before, I would have said no. Like, I think, yeah, definitely before I would have said no.
Right.
But now I think RGO is going in a positive direction.
But
I
like
think that's really good going forward.
it's just like pretty important to just like hold yourself accountable though, and keep in mind how your interactions are gonna like shine on the rest of the community and of RGL, right? Like let's say you're
Yes.
saying slurs, like what does that say about RGL, right? Like you just gotta think
Absolutely.
about how it represents things.
Absolutely. Like,
Okay.
let's bring up the recent case, Exodus, Ange. When like they leaked the fucking document. That's fucking horrible. That's despicable. That's one of the most disgusting things I've seen. Like that's horrible, and I 100% approve of RGL's response, and I totally approve of the ban length being like 2 years, because that is like despicable to do. Like as a normal person, it's even worse to do as an admin, because people have to put your trust in you when you report things.
Right. Like
Because these people like who are looking at the reports, they should be mature enough to like understand what's like what they're looking at. And I think it's really stupid that that like something like that could happen.
right.
I'm gonna be honest. This is gonna be a little bit of a tangent rant,
Sure.
but this person was appointed by Willmatic to be an admin. I think to be around a report committee member, and I was starting to befriend this person at the time. It is so obvious within 10 seconds of interacting with that person that they have the maturity of a popsicle stick. They are not mature at all. I do not think they were fit to be an admin, especially not a report committee member. And look what happens when they were. Now this entire stink happens. They leak. They do these despicable actions like leaking these documents. That's horrible. It was utterly disgusting.
And it
And then their response was even worse. I'm not gonna go through and like
The
read the
TFTV
entire
one?
response on TFTV, yeah, but that was so disgusting. No regard for what they did, no remorse. They tried to defend it. They tried to make excuses. It was disgusting. Just it's so obvious to see a person like that, how immature they are, yet they still got into a position like that, and that really upsets me. That Wilmatic let something like that happen.
And that doesn't just like affect that person or like intangible like RGL as a whole, their community as a whole. Like it affects the people a lot too.
That affects
like,
everybody.
Yeah.
Like that affects RGL. That affects the person who leaked. That affects the person who reported.
The victim.
That affects anybody who's going to report in the future. Like, because now nobody can trust RGL because a really important document just got leaked. So nobody's going to trust the reporting system. Anybody who in the future who has problems with this, they're not going to want to report because they don't want to risk this shit getting leaked.
Right.
Like,
and then it kind of like
the victims now. Like, they have to deal with any of the shit they get from, like, maybe the people who are banned supporters. Because you may think, oh, how could the people have supporters? There's some pretty fucked up people in this community, let me tell you, that would definitely go after these victims. And like, it's just horrible. Like, the community has to, like, see this happen.
Right. And then it's like the rest of RGL has to see it happen and, like, handle it as well. Like, I'd imagine that sort of stuff really weighs on their psyche, yeah? Just
Yeah, it's horrible. It's despicable.
Just damages years and years of goodwill.
Exactly. Well, I wouldn't say goodwill, considering RGL is not on the best.
Of will, I guess. I don't know.
But,
of trust. Minimal
yeah, but
trust.
It was horrible. It's despicable.
Right. Okay. So the three principles of like a decent, like a good admin, you'd say then are maturity, mental, and working with the community.
Yeah, I'd say involvement with the community.
Involvement, yeah, not necessarily working with. Okay. That's definitely pretty insightful to hear, yeah. For sure. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem. That's just my opinion. Other people may have different opinions, but that's how I worked, and I think I did a pretty good job in my first season of adminning. And what I did, I think some of the decisions I did were pretty good, others maybe not so much, but hey. I still think I'm so proud of what I did as an admin. Maybe not in the later parts, but overall I think I'm pretty proud.
Yeah, no, it definitely sounds like you have a lot of pride for it and a lot of like sentiment developed because of it. And that about wrap up your admin topics, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't think there's too much else as an admin to bring up.
Right. I feel like that kind of covers as much as we can really get into with goodwill in mind behind, like, RGL behind the scenes, yeah?
Even then, I don't think I should have been I don't think me leaking what some members want to do in the Shaggy is going to help me out with my stance with RGL, but at this point I'm thinking that bridge is already burned, so I might as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. So it's like, yeah, that's fair. Might as well take the chance at that point.
Exactly. Like, I don't think it's worth trying to repair my relationship with RGL, in a sense, because, like, I'm only going to be able to do things for one season at a time in the summer, so...
Right, so you might as well do community things at this point, yeah.
Exactly.
I respect it. Always on that grind.
Always on the grind.
So, do you have any, like, interaction, like, what were your interactions like with the other RGL staff members? Like, if that's something you would have any insight into, or like perspective?
I loved my staff. I tried to treat everyone like it was a little family. Like, I know not everyone felt the same way. Like, you know, with trying to keep things like a family, but I tried. Maybe I didn't like host movie nights or anything, but like, I tried to keep people involved. I don't know.
Right, like to build a little bit of a support system, kind of.
Yeah, get everyone working together. Like, be happy to be with your friends. Like, maybe do ratings together. Like, some people did, some people didn't. But I tried.
What do you say that's like another important thing to do? Like, as an head admin, maybe just to, like, try and build a sense of admin community, kind of like.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the Sixes admins, I know they have like a good time every fucking night. Like, I'm pretty sure they're like they have like their own meat locker. They party and shit, dude. Like, I know, like, in the RGL Discord, there were 2 tickets. Like, if you know how the ticketing system works, it makes a channel. Yeah, you make a channel, you click a button, it makes a channel, you get added with all the admins, and you just chill. And you do your work, and then it gets closed. There were 2 tickets that were, like, solely just for the admins to shoot the shit and hang out. There was ticket 957, which wound up being a Pro-Lander team that all the admins played on, which was very fun. And then there was ticket 1337, because, elite. But, yeah, like, I think the things like that were great. It was nice. I loved working with my other admins.
So, when can we expect your guide to adminship?
My guide to adminning?
Yeah.
Fuck if I know.
The community needs you.
I'll license it to RGL. They can pay me, like, $10 for every copy they give out.
Okay.
Also, I just want to say another interaction between staff members. During the head admin meetings, sometimes when like sometimes Yachts would put on his cam, and we would get to see Yachts' puppy named Update, and she's so adorable, dude. I love Update so much. She's this beautiful little Shiba dog, and
Shiba!
it was the best thing.
Shiba.
Hold on, if you want to put a picture of her on stream, I'll get a picture of her.
Yeah, sure. I'll open that up in a bit.
I'll get a cute picture of Update. Here we go.
So, how would you describe the sort of Highlander player culture as, just like, as the head admin of it for a bit?
I think the culture of Highlander is pretty ass, I'm gonna be honest.
What is it?
It's very not serious. Like, I don't think teams really put in as much effort. Well, I don't say they're going to put as much effort, but I feel like a lot of teams now, they just sort of play things, like they practice during scrims and shit, like seriously, sometimes. I know teams like Apollos, they'll give you a half and then they'll start trolling if they're rolling you, but I don't think there's a lot of teams that like actually like want to improve in the sense that like they'll do things outside of scrims, aside from like demo and like that's actually hard to word. I don't want to say they're how do I word this? I don't think I've done a good job so far. I think a big thing is the pug culture, because pugs are fucking horrible. Like, I played my first pug in like 6 months the other day, and it was just so boring. It wasn't played at all like a normal game, like a normal scrim at TF2. It was literally just a pub. I can't even call it a pub. It was just a pub with like friends. I really think that culture contributes a lot to how players play in scrims and how players form strategies for matches. I'm gonna be completely honest. I think it's really rough.
Like, it's just so like DM focused, kind of.
I mean, not even DM focused. It's just a shit show. Like I think teams adopt an ape together strong mindset, and like because that's how they play in pugs, and it just works because teams can just out DM other teams. They think that's a good strategy. I think it's really stupid, and I think teams really need to invest in like something else.
Is that something you think we saw less of back in like the earlier days?
Yeah, dude. Early Highlander pugs, that was like a silver player's dream. That was how I got into fucking Invite, dude. Because Highlander pugs were sweaty. You had the fucking Triforce, Bolomeo, Wish, and Dongus like sweating their dicks off on their main classes. Like, people tried and people cared in those pugs. People calmed it was serious. Like, that's the only reason I'm here.
Oh no,
because I got to play a pug on Spy in HL pugs, like back when it was poppin'. And like, people saw it, I wasn't shit, so Adam let me sub for AD, and that's how it all started. Like,
I meant more in the way of like the strategic side of the game. Like, do you think we saw like more strategy back in like the UGC days, like due to those, like, I guess that sort of ties into what you're saying with like the pugs being different. Do you think that like we saw more strategy as a result?
I think it's hard to say because there have been new maps introduced, like Vigil and Cascade. I think, well, it's just I'll say Cascade V2. Because I know Cascade V2 is a lot more. I think I'm trying to think, because I know something that's a big change that's happened. I don't know when it's happened. This was definitely not in correlation with pugs, but obviously you want to protect your sniper, but like having a sniper like with extra protection, that's something that's been a more recent development. I don't know if that's specifically linked to pugs, but I think combos being like ape together strong is, and I think
right.
I think chimping the spy is another thing that's might have evolved just over time. Maybe not. I don't think it's related to pugs too much, but I also think those are both horrible developments, by the way. That's just me being salty as a spy main, but listen, man, when I'm getting chased to Vigil 3rd by Exile on Scout when he's holding first, there's a problem, bro. You need to like get some help. I love you, Exile. $10 billion.
But like, do you think we saw combos like play like you would say they played a lot smarter back in the day?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. So when would you say this sort of like shift in culture in pugs was like? When could you pinpoint it?
When can I pinpoint it? Maybe season like 6-ish? Season 5? Season 6, season 7, I think. Was maybe season 6. I think, that would be a good change. Good play to change. I think that was when dog shit pugs really became like the norm. Like
And
there were like I think like season 4 or like season 1 to season 5 you had like silver pugs, right? With like limited invite players, and the invite players took over and the silver pugs came back. It was a bit of a cycle, right? So you had good pugs and you had dog shit pugs and you had like invite pugs. But I think towards season 6 it just became like dog shit pugs, dog shit pugs, dog shit pugs over and over. There wasn't really much else.
hmm. And what led, like, what was the reason? What caused it? I guess.
I got no idea, dude. Just a shift in like community mental. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like you have people in pugs playing what they call, I think, run it up pyro, where they just run like backburn or detonator and they just hold W.
Not even
Like
jetpack.
not even I don't no jetpack, bro. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
alright, that's
dude,
cringe. You should ban all those players.
it's just dumb. Like just play the pug like how you normally play it. Don't play like some
Right.
stupid fucking like. Play the pug like you play a scrim, dude. I don't know. It's stupid. I don't like it.
Yeah. Okay. And what do you think this? So we've diagnosed the problem. Like, do you have any solutions that you could think of?
Nope. Not. No. I got no idea.
Alright.
Like, if you try to like host sweat pugs, nobody's gonna show up because there's some other pug group hosting dog shit pugs that go on for 10 hours a day, and that are just absolutely abysmal to play in.
What if we made Highlander 2? Would that be the play here?
I don't know, dude.
I know Overwatch
Maybe
did
we
it.
need to go back to UGC, bro. I don't know. Maybe UGC is a solution because all the matches there weren't serious. And nah, I'm messing. But
Yeah, I know. Oh, no, Overwatch 2. Maybe we could do Highlander 2. You know?
yeah, I don't know, dude.
Think
I
they are-
can't.
They're onto something.
I don't know. I wouldn't be able to fix it.
So how about like the social side of the scene, or if pugs? Do you have any like insight on that?
Social side?
Yeah.
I think people have their friend groups and they have their groups that they hang out with, and I think that's totally fine. Like, I think there's definitely a lot of good friend groups out there. I think there's definitely some bad friend groups out there. But I don't think there's anything wrong with people having their circles that they hang out with. Like, you got the AD group, you got the somebody help group, you got, like, the Amigos group. You have, like, the K&D group, the Hood group, the Fred group. There's always some commingling between them. Like,
Right.
but I don't know, I think it's fine.
Do you think
I don't
there's
think
more
there's anything
need?
bad with it.
Do you think there's more need for like cooperation between those groups, though?
I mean, no, I don't think you need like cooperation. It's friend groups. Like you don't need to like fucking play with them or something. Like be friends with who you want to be friends with, bro. Like have a good time. Nothing bad with it.
I don't know. I just feel like to sort of like counteract the negatives in the community, like there's a need for more cooperation between like the positive pillars, I guess.
No, I don't think that's gonna. No, I don't think it's that big of a. I don't think it's big of a.
That's
point.
fair. That's fair. Okay. So you'd say, yeah, like overall, you think things are gonna go pretty well now for the Highlander community with the recent admin changes?
Oh yeah, Constantly's gonna do great. Constantly he's gonna be the best Highlander head admin by a long shot. He's gonna blow me out of the water. He's gonna blow Wilmatic out of the water. He's gonna blow X out of the water. This guy's gonna like usher in a golden age, I think.
Alright. What do you think of like small side cups, like class wars, region wars, community versus pros, those sorts of things that we used to see in the past? Do you
I
think
definitely want to bring them back, dude. I think they're
Yeah.
really fun. I enjoyed writing the articles for Region Wars the one time they happened. It's just the organization aspect. You need someone to actually who wants to organize it all.
so? Do you think that's something that RGL could work with the community more on, like the people who are interested in seeing that stuff?
Oh yeah, probably. But obviously
Okay.
they need to fit like the RGL code book. I'd say they need to fit
Right.
like the they need to fit the model of like an RGL admin.
No.
But I definitely think that they should do more. Like Region Wars was fun. We got to prove that the Euros suck once again, and they got fucking last despite sorry, they didn't get last. They beat Northeast, but the Northeast team was troll, so they pretty much got last, despite having their best roster in Div 1. And they couldn't even beat fucking what do you call it? Like just like a section part of the Highlander community in the
Was
US.
it a ping diff though?
Nope. I saw Metso fucking. I think it was Metso fucking face stab Musino suit hardcore. That was definitely not ping diff.
Damn. Alright. Alright, but yeah.
I think something like Class Wars would be fun again. Like I never got to play a Class Wars in UC, so I was fucking in Silver. So Class Wars would be fun. I'd have so much fun, dude. Like I'd be playing with Fish, Evil, Mad Ringme, fucking Demento. It'd be so much fun, dude.
And they're like, would you say like there's a benefit to them, like building more of a sense of community, just sort of getting people more interested again?
I definitely think it would help. I mean, I think it would make people more excited to play Highlander, but
Right. Like it can't hurt, right?
no, it definitely can't hurt.
What about like map cups, stuff like that, or like seasons where they test out more maps?
I don't know. Like, I feel like old maps shouldn't really be bothered with.
Right, not old maps, but just like newer maps that are
Like newer
being.
maps, I don't know. I don't really think it's as necessary. I think it's fun every once in a while, like maybe like once a year,
Okay.
maybe once every 2 years, depending on how many maps are being developed. Because right now we don't have much. We have Rapids, which has made really beautiful progress. By the way, if you haven't seen
Oh
Rapids,
no,
it's gotten very pretty. It plays very fun. Methinks.
we actually have a decent few new
Like
ones
I
now.
think Colorado stopped. I don't know what's going on with like Rose. Volcanic's in the works. I know they have a Greek map
Yeah,
creator who's
and
working
we
on
got
it.
like Eruption, Midwest, Divulgence, Cloth Suit, CP Rapids, Caldera, Winterview, uh, Volcanic, the ones you mentioned as well. Like, there's actually a decent few now, especially with like Vibes Vario's map testing project, and that could be interesting maybe.
Hmm.
But yeah, just definitely more like in general, like smaller little cups, yeah, on the side.
Yeah, I definitely say more towards like class wars, region wars, stuff like that.
Right. Okay. That's fair. Yeah. Hmm. Let's see. I think that probably runs about all of it. Hmm. Yeah, okay. Do you ever feel like a sense of like class a day with other Spymans? Like, do you end up collaborating much on like mentoring projects, anything like that together?
Nope. The most I did, I think, was I asked Evil how he played Upward before Grand Finals in Season 4, because I struggled on Upward and it was our map 3.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
think that was about it. I just asked Evil for a couple tips there.
Do you think
Other than that, I didn't do much.
do you think there'd be benefit to like more of a sense of collaboration and identity for like players of a class? Like, is that something that class wars would sort of help build a sense of as well? Like,
I don't think it would help build a sense of it, but I think it is beneficial. I know NGs do it a lot. And TF, good
yeah,
resource right there. I know Exa works with a bunch of other NGs,
or like
like to talk about how to play stuff.
or like the power roundtables in the past, stuff like that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was a part of a spy roundtable once. That thing was dog shit, dude. I was playing Dark Souls 3 the whole time. That was a horrible. It's like advanced players, dude. It was horrible, but
The council.
yeah, it was not fun. It needs to be like actual good players if you're gonna have a roundtable.
Right, or at least people who actually have like different perspective and insight to offer, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and
Not
not
just like the
just
same
like
things.
and not like fucking what do you call it? I don't know, like oh fucking kunai trick stab, haha. No, like
No way.
actual like developments about comp and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Okay. And then like how do you feel about like out of region players?
Out of region players.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think players like Mujet. I think Mujet is honestly the best sniper to invite this season. That guy's insane.
Hmm.
I don't really care too much about like the sniper ping,
Right.
like because all it really means is that you're gonna die anyway. You just die a second later. So like I get the frustration. Was like oh I'm behind the wall, but like you would have died anyway if you had 10 ping. That's the difference.
So
It just means he can't like hold an angle. He has to play more aggressively.
okay. Do you think there's like benefit to just like more sort of like players playing between different regions, sort of like sharing stuff, learning together? Like would you describe there to be like objective benefit to that sort of stuff, yeah?
I mean, yeah, but the thing is, you're gonna have people. You're gonna have like what happens when you have like an NA player and an EU player talk. It's like, oh, in EU we do this, and then he just goes, "Wait, you're fucking stupid. Why would you do that?" And that just starts an argument instead of collaboration. So it could be useful. Like maybe one player comes in, but like I don't know, not really. It's probably gonna lead to more arguments than a collaboration.
I see. What if it's more of like a broader, more abstract, like sort of league-based thing where it's just like they sort of talk more about like their issues, work together on like more of an administrative level? Do you think there could be benefit to that?
Administrator wise, yeah, like
Okay.
just having well, okay, I don't know if I should be talking about this, but there already is something like that. Like there's like a TF2 Illuminati group of like all the league owners, head admins, some community figures,
No way.
and they just like talk about issues. I'm gonna be honest, it's a dead as fuck Discord. Like nobody fucking talks in there. I
Yeah.
think like the last two things that were brought up, like one was like the recent trading bug. Maybe one thing about I-69 that's coming up. Maybe the logs.tf incident. Like the the what's it called, like pedophile allegations, like, and even then it's nothing like huge.
So do you think maybe that there's like more potential of it that could be realized that isn't being currently?
Oh yeah, I think the TF2 Guardians Discord has a lot more potential than like what they're doing.
Ah,
I think they
yes.
could be doing a lot more, but they're not.
That actually did get mentioned in the IR one, but it was pretty much to the extent of, yeah, it's dead.
Yeah, like there's nothing in there. I think Iri's in there for capping TV. Like I got in there as a RGO head admin, and that was about it.
Alright, fair enough. Are there any things you would like to just like pick and talk about yourself? Because I'm about out of like questions to ask, yeah.
Let me think. Like, I think if you're a player that's like playing and you want to climb, have like a good mentality about it. Don't like expect to climb divs like instantly. Like I spent fucking like 3 seasons. No, okay, I spent like 3 seasons in Iron. I only moved out of Iron because they got rid of it. I spent like 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 seasons in Steel, and I only moved up because I placed. I spent like, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, no, like 3, 4 seasons in Silver. Like, and I didn't move up. Oh, I did. I actually, this is funny. I did fucking move up to Advanced without really having a placement under my belt. But, and it worked out for us, but I still know your place if you're like a lower player. Like, yeah, sometimes you can be in like a mid or low main team, have the ability to play with like a top advanced roster, but you need to understand when you can. You need to have like the outside perspective to know when you can and when you can't do that.
So what I'm hearing is noob until proven otherwise.
Yeah, pretty much.
Damn.
Like humble yourself and like be smart about what you like, how you work, like how you speak, how you act.
Right, and
It's not about who you know. It's about what you. Or sorry, it's not about what you know. It's about who you know, and then it's about what you know.
what do you say also that like it's usually beneficial to like stick with the same teams as long as they're like trying to improve and are learning together?
They're trying to improve, definitely. Like, if like you think you can play on like a much better team, and you have like facts to like back that up, and you're not just being an ego lord, then yeah, then you can leave a team because you're not happy with their performance. But if you have a team that's like slowly climbing every season, fuck it, bro, stick with them.
Right.
That's gonna be fucking great for you.
And like synergy is a really important part of like better play as well. Yeah, so it's like really
absolutely. Like me and Catalyst were like we worked together really well because like he's a feed bomber, I'm a feed spy. You know, we talk a lot out of game. That's why we make a really good soldier spy combo.
It's like,
other soldiers, I'm gonna be honest, I don't work too good with a lot of soldiers. I gotta put in like a lot of effort to sort of like work well with my soldiers, and I'm putting in a really big effort this season with somebody help to work with Sunny and work with May to sort of like build that sort of chemistry, build that up before the season starts.
Right.
So like it's a bit harder for me, but I'm really working on it, and because it is a really important thing. So when you play with these players season after season, you build that naturally.
Right, and it's also like you're gonna be like more confident, like comfortable, more confident. Like there's a bigger safety net. Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't have to bust your ass as much to build the sort of chemistry. Like the season starts next week. I've only played 2 weeks of scrims with somebody. No, not even 1 week of scrims with somebody help. Because I tried out, then I got the spot. Then the next week I had finals, so I couldn't play. Then this weekend I got to play like my first weekend of scrims with the team. Like they're all pretty good with their communication. Like they've been playing together for a while.
Well,
I gotta work hard to get that there.
Right, and it's like I'd also imagine that like just for you as a player, there's also a lot of benefit to like taking that slower pace. It's like, okay, let's say you really are that good, right? But then you're like going against players who might have been like playing together for like seasons, like on other teams in the division. Like let's say you're speedrunning to advanced, right? And then it's like not only are you like playing against players that are just like drastically better there, but then it's also like if you haven't really had the opportunity to like learn to like work in that way, like, and with those higher div players yourself, you're at like such a big immense disadvantage, right?
Absolutely. Like learning to work with people is going to be one of your biggest skills.
Right.
Because you can have the best TM in the world, but if you don't know how to like take a beam with your demo on scout, then you're worthless. I don't know what to tell you.
Right. So patience is sort of rewarded then, yeah?
Yeah, like I mean, you're obviously not going to go from like IM to invite overnight. Like there are some players who like can climb really fast, like AGB. AGB is a great example. AGB played like IM, and then like got third place in advanced, and then was like on a mid invite team and is now probably one of the best spies play.
Right.
Like so, yeah, there definitely is like there are definitely are players who can climb that fast, but for most people, it's much better to just hang out and like slowly develop your skills. Like fucking me, dude. I didn't get into Invade for over 10 seasons, man. It took a lot of time. But granted, that was a lot because I was young and I wasn't really that good. But still, I still learned a lot from my time in like lower divs.
So what would you describe as like the facts then for like what you would determine for when you can move up? Like it's not always about like it's less about pure mechanics, right, and more about just your ability to work with people. Like that's what lets people move up so fast sometimes.
Well, it's a bit of both because I don't think DM matters. Like DM obviously matters, but it definitely you definitely need to be able to work with people to get places.
Right, because
and like if you want to move up, I don't think div climbing should be as like heavily emphasized. Like in UGC, it was fucking hard to move up divs, dude. That's why I only wanted to move up when I placed because I knew I'd be ready. But like RGL, it feels like people just want to climb. Like, oh, we got like 9th in IM, we just barely missed playoffs. Well, I think we're ready for main now. Like, no, dude. I think you should get top 4 before you even think about moving up. Because you're just going to be a dog shit main team that's taking up a spot of another team that could be there.
So
it sucks.
What led to that sort of shift in culture? Like when it comes to like just divisions and moves and moving divs?
I think it's a big thing is just ego. Seeing other people do it. And they're like, oh, I can do that.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think. And maybe like they play a pug with like an invite player and they do okay. They're like, oh, I can compete with these guys. I can move up fast.
Do you think also it's due to like the amount of divs like that each div is kind of seen as like weaker, or like that they really just want to like see that progression?
Yeah, it's definitely easier to climb because it's easier to see progression because there's less divs. Like in Steel, like your progression was like, okay, we got 32nd last season.
Right.
This season we got like 20th. That's pretty good progression right there. But this time it's hard to see progression unless you see the div change.
Right.
Like unless you see like, oh, amateur, we had no progression.
Because it's like,
but you could go from like bottom amateur to first place amateur, and that's pretty big improvement. But people don't feel it unless it's like, oh, that's actual improvement.
But then instead of like, I don't know, getting like a pretty high placement, like a 30 div or like a 20 div or however many like team divs, right? It's like, okay, you're like 1 out of 8 or like 1 out of 16 or like whatever number out of 8 or 16, and it's a lot like easier to sort of build up a sense of confidence there, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay. But that's not necessarily RGL's fault as much as just like a product of sort of the changes, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. That's definitely fair, yeah. And then I guess like just... So what you were talking about earlier was just like teams doing stuff outside of movie night, yeah?
Yeah. Also, I finally got the image of Update if you want to show that. Because she's an adorable little Shiba.
Maybe we should make that the thumbnail.
But yeah, do it, dude. Honestly, I wouldn't object to it.
That is quite the cute sheep. Very glowy eyes.
Update is very cute.
Okay, so it's like, yeah, there's a lot of benefit to just sort of doing those out-of-game things as a team, though, right? Like, it's just like you grow with each other, like you kind of like learn more about each other's people.
Absolutely.
And like
I played like a lot of video games with Callus. I played Terraria with him. Like we popped, like we did shit, and it turns out really well.
Right, and I'd imagine a lot of it's also just like it helps humanize the rest of your players on the team. Like it reduces the chances of just stupid drama happening, right? Because like you're actually like learning about them as people.
Yeah, you're friends. It's easier to like you're growing a friendship there too. It's not just like chemistry. You're growing a friendship. You're becoming friends with people. You know, you're happy to be around them.
Right. Yeah. And it's just like it really helps make like the team more memorable, right? Like it builds a sense of small community more.
Absolutely. Like somebody got like this beautiful community in their Discord. It's great, dude. Like they play games together. They have they have movie nights. They play like a game once a month. They all meet to talk about it. I still gotta finish the game. This month's game is Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, and I'm only joining for the first time, so I gotta speedrun this shit. Like Another, if you want to get an older example, Itty Bitty Kitty Committee. Those guys have been playing since like fucking season 18, just like around me, and they don't play too much like a TF2 anymore. But they play Overwatch. Maybe they'll pub every once in a while. They're getting to Valorant now. I play Valorant with them a bunch. It's great, dude. They have their own community. They have movie nights every Friday that I sometimes pull up to. It's great, dude. They got this beautiful community.
Right. Okay. Yeah. It's just like, yeah, there's even benefit to like in-game, yeah. It really just like, just don't treat the team as just a team, right? Like, make use out of the
Make it a
opportunity.
family. Like,
Yeah.
it'll pay out in dividends, dude.
Right.
Like, the Itty Bitty Kitty Committee, like, these guys have been around for, I don't know, so many years now. And they are such a tight-knit group of friends, and it's really a beautiful thing to see.
Right.
They're still active to this day.
It really just helps you, like, enjoy your time being spent, yeah.
Yeah, it makes you happy to be with people. It makes you happy. It gives you a place to spend your time happily.
And then not only that though, but it also just like really does help with team performance as well. Like if that's your main concern, like it's something you should still do, I'd say.
Yeah, if that's your main concern, yeah, fucking do it. But it pays out in so many ways.
Right. Okay. That's like been really beneficial to your own life as an example.
Oh yeah, I've made so many friends in this game, dude. I've made so many friends. Like, it's genuinely, I don't know where I'd be without this game. Like, I've made so many friends over this game in so many different communities. Like, I play fighting games with Rai and Weil. Like, they're both great. Weil, he's such a fun guy to play, like, fighting games. Rai, she's great as well. Like, I play, maybe Dead by Daylight with, like, Freelander. Or I play Minecraft with Blanket and Lighty. I pub with them too. I play Valorant with like fucking Rona or Inso or the IBKC crew. Like, I have made so many friends that have just come out, like have gone beyond TF2. I met up with people. I met up with Pickle, Saturation, and Yehuda in the city. I met up with Zukima and Freelander and Alto and Rogue, and we had a great time. Like, it's just make friends in this community because it will make a big difference.
Right. Okay. Do you have any other things you'd want to bring up or talk about?
I think that's it. I'm gonna plug like my Twitch and my YouTube, but that's about it. Twitch is Micahlele. YouTube, just put in Micahlele and you'll find it.
I'll link in the description. Yeah.
Oh, let's go. Also, my Discord is Micahlele, hashtag 3746. Send me anime women smoking. Thank you.
Okay. And then do you have any like shoutouts or anything you would want to do, like give?
Oh, bro, you're really making me go down the whole list of people, bro. Nah, I'm joking. I'll make it quick. Shout out to Somebody Help for letting me play with them this season. I'm really looking forward to it. Shout out to everyone on the OG team, MSCD, as always. Shout out to everyone on MSCD and Nova. You guys are always the best. Shout out to all my friends, everyone in the PAL Cord, the Bliztank Cord, the Maven Discord, all the fucking Discord I'm a part of, fucking Omba, IBKC. Listen, man, if I know you and I talk to you, bro, I love you. And shout out to you, because you had a big impact on my life, and I care about you.
Oh.
Yeah, that's about it.
Alright, then I think I am gonna end the recording, yeah.
Perfect.